Hi everybody, welcome to yet another video. In this video, I'll be talking about Burp Suite extensions and how you can create yourself using Montoya API. This is the latest method in which you can use Java to create a Burp Suite extension. Now I already have another video on how you can use the legacy method, but that is on the way or path to deprecation. Now recently I had an opportunity to create a Burp Suite extension for my work related purposes, and I thought, hey, why not create a video wherein I can tell you how you can get started with the Montoya API, which is really handy. The drawback is if you do not know Java, you might want to learn Java. But in this video and the upcoming videos, I'll be talking about most of the things. Hopefully, you'll find it exciting. So, how do you get started with it, right? So, first of all, you would need an IDE. So, let's get started with that. What I will be doing is I'll be using IntelliJ. You can use whatever IDE that you require. You can go to the downloads page and download IntelliJ. Now I believe there are two editions. One is a community edition. Now once you open that, you would be taken to a screen. Now this is the screen wherein you will be creating your first project. Let's name our project first extension YouTube. YouTube. You can do is you can use Maven or Gradle. Let's use Maven for now. The only difference is how you would be defining your package name or dependencies there. So let's create it. As you can see, I'm using 21 version. Now, if you use a JTK version slightly above that, your Burp suite will start throwing errors. So it is necessary that you use version 21 and below. I have two, I think, which is 21 and 23. 23 as of now is not supported on Burp suite. Alright, let's get started. Here you will see that you get a pom.xml file. Along with that, you get all of these files. Okay. Now, how do you tell Maven IDE what package or dependencies you would be using? So what you need to do is you need to put in a dependency. So let's do this. So here is the dependency. I have to close dependencies here. Okay, closed. Now what you need to do is you click on this button and it would be downloaded for you. If I expand this, you will see that Portswigger extension Montoya API has been downloaded. Great. Now I think we can get started with our project. Now here you'll see a source file, a main file, a Java. Right click on it, create new Java class. You can name anything. I'll use the first extension YouTube, and you can see it's a Java file, right? Alright, now we are done with the first step, which was modifying the pom.xml file and adding a dependency. Now here we'll be creating our own classes, methods, and whatever you can do using these methods which are listed here. Alright, so let's get started with our first extension. Here the first thing you need to do is you will need to import that burp extension. So import burp.api.montoya.burp extension. That's the first thing. And also import burp.api.montoya.montoya API. Now these are the things that you will require on a regular basis because this is something which is required by all the Montoya APIs or all the extensions that you create using Montoya API. Okay, now that we are done with this, let's get started with our first class. So it would be public class. The name of the class would be this, which is first extension YouTube. We would use implements and burp extension. Now why did I do this? Because I followed a similar approach while creating burps extensions the previous video, which was using legacy methods. Now if you search interface burp extension or just burp extension using the search feature over here, it would say that all extensions must implement this interface. Now you might want to learn about what are interfaces in Java because then you'll be more able to understand what we are doing here and why we are doing it here. Now because now we have implemented this interface, we can use a method within the burp extension which is called initialize. Why? Because this is invoked whenever your burp suite extension is loaded onto Burp Suite. So we will be doing that. How can I do that? So public void initialize. Does it expect? It expects Montoya API. Okay, got it. So let's do this. Now, because we're already using a method that was defined within Burp extension and we're modifying it, so we can use override. All right. Now that we are done with it, so at this point of time, I was a bit confused, like how can I create an extension using my own name and and use a few features within Burp Suite. So let's try to find it out. So you can try to set a name using set name. So here you go. So you have something called void set name. Let's do API dot extension dot set name. Now whatever I do or whatever I write here would be displayed within Burp Suite when I load this extension. My first extension. Great. So this would be the name of my extension whenever I load. Now what are a few things that I can do? Now the easiest things that I can do is get started with logging. Logging. So here you can see that there is something called a logging class, and within that a logging interface, and within that you have log to error, log to error, log to output, output. You can also raise critical events, debug events, and error events. So what are those? So as you can see, I'm clicking on event log, and here are a few event logs. Raise info event would raise errors or events within this. Raise error event would raise events within this, and debug event would raise uh, debug events within this. So here are a few things that you can do. Now if you want to raise errors, what you can do is log to error that you can use, or the error method also, which is also deprecated. You can use that to log errors here. So let's get started with this. API dot logging dot raise info event. This is an info event. Now you might not always want to write this, so what you can also do is logging log is equal to API dot logging. Then you can use log dot raise info event. Okay, it was throwing an error. So let's do logging. Okay, the reason this is not working, I might have missed this, is import burp.api.montoya.logging and logging. And because of this, now I am able to use logging feature within Burp Suite. I do not have to use api.logging.raise info event every time. So this is the simplest Burp Suite extension that we could have created. Let's do something. Let's go here, go to project structure. Let's go to artifacts. Let's create an artifact. Okay, include project build, apply. Okay. So because right now we have only one dependency, so I'm not showing you how you can import other dependencies that exist within Java and how you can also export them. Let's try to build it. Build the project. As you can see, the build has finally succeeded. Let's go to our Burp Suite. Let's click on the add button. Let's click on the select file button. And here what I would do is I would go to my project. I'll go to the out folder. I'll go to artifacts, and here is the first extension YT jar file that we just created. You can also see that from here. If you go to out, as soon as the build completes, this is the jar file that gets built up. Let's click on open. Let's click on the next button. As you can see, there are no errors. Close it. Now you can see that the name is set to my first extension that we had just set up, and we had also set up a info event. So if I go to info, you will see that it says my first extension, which is the name of the extension, and it says this is an info event. So thank you guys. I hope this video was of some use to you. In the upcoming videos, we'll dive a bit deeper and play around with proxy, play around, because there are a lot of methods that you can use here. We can play around with proxy, we can play around with collaborators, we can play around with the repeater tab, and everything that you can imagine within Burp Suite. Of course, there would exist some limitations, but we'll get to it.